Sohail Ahmed Khan has come to pray at his father's grave. 65-year-old Bashir Ahmed Khan was shot dead during what Indian security forces say were clashes with armed men in the northern Kashmir town of Sopore on July the 1st. They say he was caught in the crossfire. This video shows his body on the road near the car he and his 3-year-old grandson were travelling in. A photo showing the child sitting on his dead grandfather caused outrage. The family accuses the security forces of putting the boy on top of the dead man so they could take pictures. Police reportedly filmed him crying as they drove him away from the scene.
The locals who witnessed it say that firing did happen, but it had stopped sometime before Bashir Ahmed Khan's car reached the spot. He was dragged out of the car and fired upon.
The latest report from the rights group Jammu Kashmir Coalition of Civil Society says Sohail's father was one of at least 32 civilians killed by Indian security forces in Kashmir since January. It's been a year since the Indian government cancelled a constitutional provision that for the past 70 years had guaranteed limited autonomy to the Himalayan region, the move effectively annexing parts of the disputed territory.
Jammu Kashmir or Ladakh.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Muslim-majority Kashmir needs to be better integrated into the rest of the country. India has more than 500,000 troops stationed in the region. Soldiers patrol virtually empty streets. The government has repeatedly shut down the internet over the last year and access remains restricted. The Kashmir Chamber of Commerce and Industry says the economy lost $2 billion during the initial crackdown in the second half of 2019. COVID-19 has made things even worse. Tens of thousands, mostly civilians, have been killed in the 30 years since an uprising began demanding greater self-determination. Rights groups and activists say the government ending Kashmir's autonomy has reinvigorated recruitment into armed groups.
Everything was done on the name of prosperity, peace. But if you see on the ground, things have been otherwise. Whatever little freedom was given, by before 5th of August here, in the governor's rule or before the previous governments, are no more.
The Indian government continues to deny journalists working with the international media permission to visit Kashmir.
The militants and their stooges were behind the filing of the false complaints of human rights violation against the security forces, against the police agencies. I'll not deny, and there may be some cases of human rights violations also, not denying that, and strict action should be taken against the persons who are violating the human rights of anybody.
For Sohail and many Kashmiris like him, the sense of isolation from the outside world and the struggle for their rights gets harder by the day. Charles Stratford, Aljazeera.